It's crazy to think that the final countdown is on. By this time next week, I should be going in to have baby boy, but in the meantime, I still have so much to get done. So nesting and nursery are in full force. I can't say that I have a ton of energy, but I'm certainly forcing myself to. So today's video is definitely a long and jam-packed one where I am starting off in the living room, cleaning up the couch a little bit because I'm sure I will be lounging out here for a long time after the baby's born, cleaning up the kitchen area, cleaning the floors and the rugs down here before I head upstairs and work on the nursery, which is going to turn into a disaster before it gets better. So there's definitely lots to do in these final stages, and I hope that for you it also sparks some motivation. Now I'm going to be completely honest, I have been in such a rut. A lot of these things I've been procrastinating and waiting last minute, but I was listening to a podcast from Tom Bilyeu, a recent one that's titled Do This Daily to Destroy Procrastination, and I wanted to share some of his valuable tips for getting out of a rut. So first and foremost, it's being honest with yourself that you are actually in a rut. He says that a lot of people tend to not be honest or admit to themselves that they're in a rut because they either have low self-esteem or they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. He said we can have low self-esteem because we fixate what we center our self-esteem around, such as, is our house clean enough? Or are we smart enough? Are we, the best mom on the PTA? So he says to switch what you build your self-esteem around, meaning don't center it around being right, being good, being smart, having the perfect house. He says to build your self-esteem around whether or not you're making progress, to recognize when it is that you're not making progress, and then make the change to get moving again. When you realize you're not making progress towards something you want, maybe you're procrastinating a bit like I did, then there's no need to punish or beat yourself up. But just having the power to recognize this about ourselves really allows us to make the change to move forward. So whatever it is you may be feeling in a rut right now, whether it's parenting, back to school prepping, cleaning and keeping up with your house, your weight loss journey, if you're feeling like you're in a rut, then acknowledge it, stop blaming yourself for it, stop beating yourself up for it, and start making the change today. Yesterday didn't matter, the day before didn't matter. It's your choice to now move forward. So that podcast and words of advice really helped me get going today. And hopefully it was helpful for you too. But let's get started. Let's get going here in the living room and get out of this rut and get stuff done. If this is your very first video to watch of mine, then I am really, really glad to have you here. My name is Michelle. I'm a mom. I have two daughters already, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. And then currently, as you already know, I am almost due with a baby boy. We have not fully decided on his name, but I will probably share it over on my Instagram, Michelle O'Malley 711, whenever he does come. So if you decide to, you can go ahead and follow me over there, and I probably will be giving more up-to-date updates. On my channel here, I pretty much do all things for the home. I am trying to keep up with my home, cleaning it as best as I can, as well as starting this organizing journey and getting so many, decluttered or unorganized spaces as organized as I can. I also share home decor, seasonal decor, and home project makeovers that my husband and I attempt ourselves, but as non-professional DIYers, I like to say that we do a pretty good job. I'm a pretty down-to-earth person. I like to keep it real life on here, and I love all of my subscribers here. So if you're not subscribed already, then I would love nothing more than for you to join the community. I also tend to be a little more chatty in my videos. I like to have that connection with you guys and, just have someone to talk to while we are trying to get all of this stuff done. there are several spaces in my home that need a really good deep cleaning, but just getting down on my hands and knees and like scrubbing certain areas, for example, my shower or the small bathrooms or any type of like tight spaces, I just can't seem to do it. So I'm really debating on having someone come and help clean my house while I'm, at the hospital, just so that when I come home, I don't have to worry about scrubbing the small corners or deep cleaning some of these spaces that I haven't been able to deep clean. In doing that, I almost have this guilty feeling like I'm cheating on y'all by hiring someone. But, this is my third pregnancy. This is my hardest pregnancy. The first time I ever got help with my house was whenever I had Savannah, my middle child. And that's when I kind of just said, I can't do it. I can't keep up. I need a little bit of help. And then after, the pandemic hit is when I, started doing more things myself. I started working from home. So I was able to have a little bit of extra time to clean the house and get stuff ready. I currently still work from home, and I know that I've done a poll before, and majority of y'all are stay-at-home moms, but I will just say that before, like the commute to work, if you are a working mom, I know I had a pretty high percentage of those as well. The commute to my work before working from home was at least 2 hours a day. So an hour to work and an hour home from work, going and picking up my kids. It was just so much time spent out of my day going back and forth. And then ever since working from home, I can't believe how much time I saved. I can't believe that I used to drive so far to work every day. But it's just normal. Like, I'm in the Houston area, the fourth largest city in the US, and traffic is a nightmare. If you're from this area, leave me a comment, give me a shout out, give us a shout out and everything. But you guys know the traffic is just a nightmare. So, but where I was going with this is that now that I had a lot more time, I was able to do more things around the house. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with getting help, especially when you need it. I felt like with toddlers, though, it's just, or having like so multiple people live in your house, it's like you're still cleaning all the time. So I just felt like I was cleaning all the time. Then I was paying someone to clean my house. Then I was cleaning up before they would come to help clean my house. And then I was home when they were cleaning my house. And I was like, you know what? I can do all of this. And definitely got into more of the cleaning route. Got into what are some useful products? What are some things for someone who isn't a cleaning expert, or not that cleaning is necessarily hard, just that I don't know what the most efficient, best tools are out there. So actually, I'm shampooing this carpet with the Tenco shampooer, which I got a few months ago. And right now it is one of my favorites. So they actually sent me this to try out, like I said, a few months ago. I already had the Bissell shampooer. The difference in the two, I believe, or in my opinion, are the Bissell does a good job as well. It's just a lot heavier. I feel like it's a little bit more to clean. And the main thing about this Tenco shampooer is that it has a dryer. So you can actually like shampoo it and then go over it and dry it. So this one is kind of my top one right now. I have never shampooed this rug before. This rug was fairly new. Whenever we did our living room makeover refresh video, we got this new rug, and this is my first time shampooing it. Same with the one in our kitchen. I just wanted to get this done and out of the way, obviously before the baby comes, I guess, as you can say, part of nesting. And I don't expect it to be too dirty, but you just never know.
Shine on me, shine on me. Shine on me, shine on me. I've been going out of my head. I've been waiting for someone to give me help. All I'm asking for is just some space and some time, then I'll be alright. I've been having thoughts in my mind I can't get out. Tell me things I can't say myself, from you and nobody else. Everything is out of my sight. This is all so new to me. bright sunshine on me. Shine on me, shine on me.
So once I get everything shampooed, you know that it will be a little bit wet. Then what I'm doing is putting it in dry mode, and it's almost like a hair dryer going back and forth like on your carpet. So it will supposed to get it dry, you know, in a few passes. Sometimes it's still a little bit wet, but it definitely helps speed up the drying process if it's not completely dry already.
Asking for is just some space and some time, then I'll be alright. I've been having thoughts in my mind I can't get out. Tell me things I can't say myself from you and nobody else.
Here is the dirty water tank. Like I said, I just did the main rug and the rug in the kitchen, and not very dirty at all. There's definitely some dog hair and stuff in there, but surprisingly, it wasn't too bad. So next I'm moving on to the downstairs floors. This one is going to be way worse. It always is. But I'm again using the Tinco again to mop. This mops and vacuums the floors at the same time. So I'm going to go through all of the floors before moving on. Pretty recently for me, the mopping of the floors have been hit or miss, whether or not I do them or not. Usually, I mean, do you guys mop the floors the very, very last thing? I feel like that's just part of the routine or process, because you kind of start at the top and then work your way to the bottom. Or if you're cleaning your counters, then you know, all this stuff falls on the floor, so the floors are always pretty much the last thing you clean. So since I've been pregnant, or at least the last several months, the floors are hit or miss, because by the end of all the cleaning, or at least the end of a video, I'm like, I don't think I can finish with mopping the floors. So I'm just going to have to turn on my robot vacuums and then call it a day. But if you don't clean your floors last, as far as mopping the floors, vacuuming and mopping, what is it that you clean last whenever you are like doing a whole house clean, or, you know, cleaning the kitchen and the living room area, and it's not the floors? What is it that you clean last? Leave me a comment and let me know down below.
I was knocked down, heard the countdown through the haze, in the face of defeat, yeah. I was ruled out with no bailout, on my own, all alone, left to bleed out. But I rose up from the ground, just like I was spellbound. All the odds were against me, so I picked up the pace, and now I'm in the race. Give me some space. I'm a movement and I ain't losing.
So I have been blessed and given so much baby clothes. I have been sorting through everything the last couple of weeks, and just recently I had my neighbor give me some clothes the night before. So Sailor and I were up last night sorting through some of the clothes. So I'm just going to move those. Probably in next week's video, I'll have a lot more of the organization along with the entire nursery reveal. I'm almost done, and I'm really excited to share it. But for right now, I'm going to put back the cushions on the couch. I typically take them off, not the cushions, the cushion covers off of the couch cushions. I typically just wash them on a gentle cycle and dry them on a gentle cycle, and then getting them back on is a workout and a pain in itself. I hate doing it, but you know, it has to get done in order to get this stuff cleaned up. So I'm going to put all of this stuff back together, and then I'm going to work on washing a lot of the baby products.
I'm about to explode. No, I don't have to say I'm sorry. I ain't staying in the background, no, 'cause I don't need your worries. to explode.
So along with going through all of the baby clothes upstairs, we have this closet that I had been storing a ton of baby stuff that I've used, and I haven't used it. I mean, Savannah just turned 3, so I have not used it in 3 years, nor have I gotten it out and looked at it or anything like that. So I started slowly pulling things out, and one of the first things that is a necessity, like in case something happens or comes early, is going to be bottles, pumps, anything that I used right away. So my plan is to make room in one of our kitchen cabinets in order to get all of this stuff out, cleaned, and see what I can reuse, see if anything's old or whatever, and then also wash all of these bottles. So I'm actually washing the sink first because I'm just going to hand wash everything, but I was like, the sink is kind of dirty. So I'm rinsing it out, and then I did order new bottles. So I have bottles that I did save, but like I said, they are 3 years old, and then Sailor's almost 5. So some of them are even as old as her. So I Googled to see how long you could use bottles. And they said that, obviously you need to switch out the nipples or the tops of them, but that they usually last about 3 years. So I was like, well, I don't know. Let me just grab a couple off of Amazon and see what happens. Another thing that I ordered off of Amazon were a few more pump parts, and I'm pulling out my old pump. So if you live in the US and everything, you can get your breast pump covered through insurance. So each pregnancy, I was able to get a pump covered, and this is the newest one, the LV. I have never, before they didn't offer this through insurance. This one was offered through insurance with an upgrade, so I'm going to try that one out. And then I've also been using the Medela. So if you have had kids before, then probably know a little bit about these brands. If not, then they are just different brands and different kinds of breast pumps. Some are plug-in. One is like portable if you're in the car or something. And then the new LV one is one that's like discreet. You can hide. And I don't know how great it works. I'm trying to take it apart here and figure it out. So I guess we'll just find out. I guess since we are talking about babies and having a baby and all the accessories that come with babies, then I'll share some of my stories from my past pregnancies. I know it's always interesting to hear like other people's experience with things. So basically, neither of my girls were very good. I would just say that I did not breastfeed very well at all. And the really bad thing is like with Sailor, I went to like a breastfeeding class, and they just like really advocated how it's the best thing, it's the best for your baby, it's this and that. So I was just dead set on trying to breastfeed and making sure that that was my choice and everything. And then, when we were in the hospital, she just wouldn't latch on. And I was like, nope, I'm going to make this work. It's the best thing. It's all I've been hearing and listening to, and it just was not working. I had to give her a bottle when she was under a week old, and I had Chris, my husband, do it because I was like crying. I was like, I totally failed as a mom. I don't have a good supply. I don't have anything. I wasn't prepared to do formula. I didn't really have that many bottles either because that wasn't my intention. And then, we went to a lactation consultant and we did everything, and it was just ended up being so much easier. But I was a full-blown pumper. Like I pumped exclusively pretty much. And then after a few months, it just didn't, like I went back to work and I could not keep up. I barely had any milk left. So that was kind of a, traumatizing experience, but it's like you just can't control everything, and it's not your fault. It doesn't make you a bad mom if your hopes and dreams don't always go the way that you planned. Now with Savannah, she did a lot better, but she was also tongue-tied, and it was just so painful. So I was like, I refused to give her a bottle too. I was in tears. Like after a week or so, I went to multiple lactation consultant appointments. They actually told me Dr. Brown's bottles were the best, and that they would get confusion and everything like that. If you introduced a bottle to them, then they wouldn't ever breastfeed. And there's so many different scenarios and stories and experiences that people go through. For me, we did the best we could, but I also pumped a lot with her as well. I was able to breastfeed her a little bit more, but my key thing was just pumping all the time. Like, I tried so hard to get my milk supply up. I pumped nonstop. So having all of these pumps was essential for me, and getting ready and getting bottles ready and everything. I definitely want to breastfeed, but I know that not everything is under my control. So this is why I'm preparing so much with bottles and reusing a lot of the pump accessories and everything like that. But as much as I wish everything was as easy as it looked, and it came as easy as it looked and went the way that we wanted it to, it just doesn't. And that kind of just goes to show that it's going to be okay either way. You just find what works, and overall it's relatively a short period of time anyway. But this time around, I'm definitely prepared for either way, both mentally and physically.
Couple hours from Japan, would you stay awake? I'm losing touch of who I am when you're far away. And I feel like I'm running in circles around you. And I know I've been acting strange for a while, but I want you close, ooh, closer than before. And no one knows, ooh, that I want you close. I'm not overthinking feelings.
We are in the nursery now, or what is currently Savannah's room. So with the other two, I had 2 upstairs unused rooms, so I had a blank slate to start with each of them. And now that all the bedrooms are full, it's been a little bit more challenging because I am putting the girls into Sailor's room to share that room, and then this room, which is a girl nursery toddler room, is now going to be transformed into a baby boy nursery. So here is a little closet that actually it connects to the attic, and it's in that room. I know it's kind of strange, but this is where I have stored all of the baby stuff, and I have really not opened this door in several years. So I have no idea what's in here. I have no idea what condition it is. I probably should have taken better care of it, but my goal today is to get everything out, see what I have, and also take the covers off of everything and start washing everything. The good thing is that after 2 kids, I have absolutely everything that I need. So I didn't need to go and buy anything. As a matter of fact, I was planning on using a lot of like pink stuff still, just like burp cloths and things like that. Where I'm like, you know, he'll never know the difference if it's pink or blue or whatever the color is. But other than having friends give me a ton of clothes that those baskets earlier that you saw, a lot of those were clothes. And then I still have all the girl clothes that I needed to go through. So over the last couple of videos, I had been going through and sorting tons of girl clothes. I swore that this one was going to be a girl, and I'm kind of still in shock. I know that I'm even close to the end. I'm like, I really hope it's still a boy, because I'm just going to be devastated if I had gotten rid of everything, changed everything from girl to boy, and then something happens, which of course it's not going to happen, but the crazy thoughts that you think sometimes. But if you've been following on earlier videos, why didn't I start this so much sooner than 36 weeks pregnant or whatever? It's because I didn't know exactly where I wanted him. We have 1 bedroom downstairs that was an office. Once Chris, that I was going to make his baby room initially, like early on, and then once Chris quit his corporate job, he needed that office to stay an office. So what I ended up doing was completely decluttering that office space and keeping it an office, and now he works in there a lot of the times. I like working in the dining room. It's just a big table, big open space by the window. I don't know, I just like doing that. And then I decided that I was going to order these bunk beds for the girls so they can start sharing a room. Well, those bunk beds were 4 months back ordered. I thought they would come in early, and then they came in like almost an additional month late. So I was like, well, let me just wait for these beds to come in before I switch Savannah out of her room, and then they can both have a bed big enough to share a room and whatever. So anyway, but the bottom line is I procrastinated so much, and now it's crunch time, and I'm just like, we're going to make it work however it's going to work. So if you do follow me on Instagram, I had an air mattress in there. Someone had actually recommended that, and I was like, no, I'm just going to wait for these beds. But once the beds, they weren't in by the time they were supposed to be in, it said like June 26th. I was like, I got to do what I got to do. I got to get this room ready. So anyways, that's what's going on in that situation. And now I'm slowly going to start moving things over, washing everything, and then this room will be transformed. I'm not painting or doing anything crazy. I'm just taking out the simple touches and then adding stuff, but I promise it already looks amazing. Not in this video, but I'm waiting on a few more things, and I know it's gonna look amazing when it's done, which that video will be out next week. So make sure you're subscribed if you want to see the organization and kind of like the transformation of the nursery in that video.
Oh, here you are, face to face in this trashy bar. Another glass and I am going places. Makes me laugh about the irony of everything. I like the way you're thinking. I don't really care about the music on the dance floor. I don't really mind all the smoke is in the bathroom. I don't care at all, baby. You got my attention. So you were saying, oh no, I don't see the logic of things.
So this is actually a couple days later, and I had washed everything. I had taken everything off of the covers. I'd washed everything, and now I'm putting everything back on. Luckily, nothing was like super damaged or stained or anything like that, so I was able to salvage it all, and it all looks pretty new and definitely reusable.
Here's to the good days, here's to the sorrows. If this is a mistake, I know about tomorrow.
So one thing that I have stored in this closet is my massive wedding dress. It takes up so much space, and I think this September will be 9-year wedding anniversary. So 9 years ago, I wanted a big, humongous, flowy dress with crystals all over the top, and that's what I got. But storing it is another story. So I never got it like shrinked down. I think you can do that. I don't know. You guys let me know what you did with your wedding dresses. Did you resell them? Or how are you, if you are storing them, how are you storing them? I told Savannah, I asked the girls, I was like, you girls can wear my wedding dress later on. I'm going to keep it. And Sailor was like, no. And Savannah was like, yes, I'm definitely wearing your wedding dress. So we'll see what they say when they're old enough to wear it. But I ended up buying these vacuum bags and off of Amazon. I've seen people use them all the time. I don't know why I've never thought of it before. So this one came with 3 ginormous size bags, and I had no idea if this was going to fit in here. I obviously don't want to ruin it, but I'm going to fold it the best I can, the bottom of it, and then stick it in there. And then you get, we just used a shop vac to suck out all of the air. I wish that I would have done this several years ago. Well, I guess several years ago we had all kinds of space to store it. Now that we are running out of space, then I wish that I would have done this a little bit sooner. But I did manage to fit the whole thing in this bag, fold it up nicely, which is definitely a win for me.
It's gonna hurt even more than this does. We gave it all we had. It's time to say bye, baby, bye. I'll be, you'll be, yeah, we'll be fine. So let's call it a night, and that's why
So once you seal it, there's this little valve on the end, and that's where we just attached the shop vac and then sucked out all the air. We didn't want to go too much. We let out a little bit. We just didn't want to ruin it. I don't know. It was like felt super stiff. So if you guys have used these before and you like sucked out all the air, like see how thin it is. Whenever you opened it back up, was it stiff? Did it get ruined, or was it completely normal? So here we just let a little bit of the air out. Not really sure because we've never used them before, but let me know in the comments below if you have.
Hold up just a minute. Been looking for some help just to find myself. Yeah. Been losing my focus.
I also wanted to point out that if you have been struggling to conceive, it's been difficult, if you've experienced pregnancy loss, that I really am thinking of you. It's very difficult to go through that. I don't have words to say. I don't think there's ever a right thing to say whenever that experience is happening, but just know that you're thought of and just hang in there. I know that I look back 5-6 years ago just wondering what my life would look like, 10 years, 5 years or 10 years down the road. We certainly knew we wanted a family, just didn't know how that would play out or look. I had irregular cycles. I actually had a mass cyst on my ovary. I had to get ovarian surgery before trying to conceive, and the doctors told me it would be difficult, but we got pregnant and it was such a blessing. And then after 8 weeks we went in, found out we lost it. So definitely, I know that there are stories that are a lot worse than mine, but it was definitely a struggle in the beginning. And looking back 5 or 6 years ago, it was definitely difficult, and now I can't imagine my life being any different. The cards just had to play in that order. And although I necessarily wouldn't have chosen it to happen, but I wouldn't change anything now. So if you are in a difficult situation, just know that I, myself, and I know probably the rest of this amazing community are also thinking and praying for you as well.
Driving every mile, and now if I rewind, it's all been a waste of time. It's all been a waste of time. Waste of time. Waste of time. Waste of time. I was out waiting for something, and if I close my eyes, it's all been a waste of time. I was out waiting for something, and if I close my eyes, it's all been a waste.
Now that I've gotten a lot of the accessories, cushion covers, bassinet covers, all of that stuff cleaned, then my next goal is I kind of just set everything out of the bedroom so that I could do a deep cleaning on this carpet. And once I have, the carpets and everything clean, then I can kind of start with a clean slate and getting the clothes, the organizing, and getting the nursery set up. I'm using the Tenco carpet shampooer again in this room, and I really don't expect it to be dirty either, because before that was just an empty room before we had Savannah move into it, and then we had that rug in there. So other than that, it shouldn't be too dirty, and we'll just shampoo it just to see. I think this is probably the first time I've ever shampooed this room before, so I guess we'll just see how dirty it does end up.
From my window, sun's coming up like the day before. You're like a stone on my pillow. I don't make a sound when I shut the door. You don't have to wake up yet. We can spend all day in bed. I'll put the TV in the room. We'll have a Netflix marathon, Kenny G saxophone. We'll order in a bunch of food. I'll put your favorite music on, all the way baritone. Yeah. Shut the lights, go infrared. We can spend all day in bed. I get the wine and the corkscrew. You don't have to do one single thing. You don't know how much I want you.
So I am going to go ahead and end the video right about here. But if there's something that you've been really procrastinating doing, I'm sure not everyone watching this is setting up a nursery. But if you are, it's a reminder to go ahead and get started. But if there's any space that you've been procrastinating with, then hopefully this is your cue or your calling to get started. Again, next week will be the final reveal of all of the changes and decorations that I end up putting in this space. And if you're not subscribed, then I would love for you to subscribe and join this community so that you don't miss any of my weekly upcoming videos.
We can spend all day in bed.
But the water is not too bad, but I will see all of you guys next week, and I hope that you have an amazing weekend.